To be honest, I wouldn't leave anything unturned, right? Just
Yeah.
utilize the resources, and I'll talk a little bit about the resources.
Sure.
So I've got some of it here. So this is the book I bought off of Amazon here. It's your book, the third edition.
Mhm.
This I went through the entire booklet, did all the practice problems, a lot there. And for me, as an analytical individual, the more problems I do, the better it helps me to understand.
Hi, Paul. How's it
Hey,
going? Can you hear
yeah,
me
I'm
okay?
doing well. I can hear you fine.
Okay, great. Well, congratulations on getting your FE electrical and computer exam out of the way. Really happy about it. And thanks a lot for making time to take this call and do this interview. So going back in time, I see that you enrolled in my course in October of 2021, right? And we had a quick Zoom call after you enrolled sometime in December. And you mentioned that you had previously attempted this exam, and then uh, you were deciding to take another stab at it. So walk me through your FE exam preparation journey, when you graduated, what motivated you to get into this, briefly talk about your previous attempt and how this time around you made it happen.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, as you mentioned, I did register online through your online courses, and I did the 6 month package that you offered. And the reason why I went with the 6 month instead of a shortened duration was because I'm working full time. I'm a husband and a father of two kids, and just trying to manage my time. And when I was planning this out, the 6 months made sense to me just because of the amount of time on a week to week basis that I could allocate in studying preparation. So when I looked at the calendar and I was looking at the plan, can I shorten up or lengthen up the study preparations to shorten up the duration for a 3 month? And I looked at my calendar and I said, no, there's absolutely no way I can get this amount of studying in for 3 months. So I looked at it further, and it looked like 6 months was my window of opportunity. I spent about 2 hours a day, and I roughly studied for 5 days a week.
Okay.
So the weekends I would take breaks because, again, I mentioned that I have a personal life, and
Yeah.
my children take a lot of that time, and so does my wife. And I spent the Saturdays and Sundays, which is some family times, but the Monday to Friday, again, I averaged about 2 to 3 hours of studying for this FE. And yes, you're right. Prior to enrolling into your courses, into your study preparations, I did write the examination when I was in undergrad, taking Bachelor's of Science of Petroleum Engineering. I took a stab at it. I didn't do any preparation. I didn't prepare for it. I just went ahead and just wrote it. I wasn't successful at it. That kind of haunted me a little bit, and it kind of threw me off. And it kind of things just quickly snowballed after that, right? I got into a career, got married, got kids, and then what the motivation for me was to finish this was where I am with my career. My career has enabled me to now practice or utilize my technical analytical background, right? And I'm in the power systems market or utility market, and it's come to a point in my career where it actually, for me to practice as an engineer in the province of Alberta, so I reside in Canada, Alberta, Calgary, and it actually there's a lot of benefits for me to hold a designation in engineering or license engineer for my career. So that was a motivation. Plus, there was some personal motivation as well too. So now to talk about the journey and some of the challenges. Listen, I studied. My undergrad was Bachelor's of Science in Petroleum Engineering. So I didn't have much electrical background when I went to study. So most of the electrical sections were kind of new to me. I am in the power systems, and I'm kind of learning it as my career, but talk about the computer science or the computer software side of things. That was really new to me. That's where, when it came to preparation, I thought I could probably hammer some of those out a couple days. Well, I was kind of wrong. I actually spent a little bit more time on those, just understanding the concepts and under the fundamentals. That actually really helped me actually on the examination, because I was quite amazed when I wrote the exam, which I wrote it 2 weeks ago and passed. Yay. That helped. That really did. And it was, to be honest, and just for the viewers out there, it was really dry. And there was a lot of information for the courses out there, like the course that you offered. There was a lot of lectures.
25 lectures. Computer networks,
yes.
there are 25 lectures. And software, there are 20 lectures. And computer systems, I think there are about 15, 17 lectures. So there's a lot of content. And Paul, to your point, I'm not sorry to interrupt you, but it is designed so that you, being a petroleum engineer, went through that process, although it's dry, I agree, but you were able to score some points, hopefully, right? And that's true for my power systems engineers as well. A lot of these guys are skipping software if they can in their undergrad. They're skipping computer networks, skipping computer systems, because they have a very clear vision of what they want to be. But when it comes to the FE exam, all of these topics are sort of included, right? So it serves a purpose, but I agree. Like, if you haven't taken these courses, it's going to come across as a lot of content, but it's by design.
Oh, absolutely. And if there's any feedback I can give to the viewers and that are kind of similar position or coming from another discipline or don't have much education or background on the computer side, I would highly suggest just put a little bit of time and effort into those sections that you're not familiar with. Really get to know the fundamentals of it, because if you can walk away with like a 50 or a 60 percentile on those sections, that's you're going to be good. We're doing that.
Yes.
What you want to prevent is going below those. So for me, I went through it a first time. And again, part of the online courses, those mini exams, and I'll talk a little bit about the exam preparation, the booklets, and the things I used. I was working with your 3rd edition practice problems. And I went through there and I had to go back, because when I did the mini exams, I wasn't scoring well. And I felt when I practiced the actual full-on exam preparation and I got some of the analytical data back of where I scored, I was scoring very low in those sections. So that to me felt that, okay, I got to come back and spend a little bit more time. And thankfully I did, because before the exam, I started scoring well in those sections. And I truthfully believe this, that if I probably didn't score well in those sections, I don't know if I would have passed.
Yeah.
And
it's
I'll
a risky
talk
proposition.
a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's a risky proposition to skip them all together. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and if like, to be honest, I wouldn't leave anything unturned, right? Just utilize the resources, and I'll talk a little bit about the resources.
Sure.
So I've got some of it here. So this is the book I bought off of Amazon here. It's your book, the 3rd edition. This, I went through the entire booklet, did all the practice problems, a lot there. And for me, as an analytical individual, the more problems I do, the better it helps me to understand the concepts, right? The more repetition, the more practice, it just gets entrained into my brain. So I felt that me going through this, I actually went through it the first time and I started going back on the weaker subjects and start writing it out again.
That's smart.
Right.
Yeah,
and guys, and girls, listen, 6 months for me, you might say, oh, well, that's a long time. It all depends where you are in your life, what you've got going on, but stick with the game plan, stick with the plan, write yourself a plan. And this was essential for me. And once I completed that and I was comfortable and I was like, listen, I'm doing good. I went through all the material. Now I just got to force myself. And I tell you, my internal thoughts were going at it. And I was like, okay, I kept delaying. I'm like, okay, maybe I'm not ready. And literally, and I had to thank my wife for this. She was just like, go ahead and book the exam. I gave myself 3 weeks of exam preparation. So this is after I did all your courses, did all the mini exam. I also did a practice exam, did all the practice problems. I said to myself, okay, I got 3 weeks. I went and scheduled my exam. I had 3 weeks to do full on exam preparation. What that mean is that I went and got last year's, I guess it's sample. The NCEES, last year's exam. I went through it. I would highly recommend, in conjunction with your material, to get this, because this really kind of set my environment and understood. Okay, this is what kind of is going to be more, I guess, similar to the exam questions. I did this one, and I also, I Google and internet, as you can find a lot of resources. I found other practice exams out there. And overall, I did 3 practice exams, and I scored well. And I can't express enough about how you need to prepare yourself for an exam environment, meaning that I would actually set like a Saturday, so a Sunday in those 3 weeks, where I would leave the full 6 hours of exam writing. So I went in there and I would practice. Like, I'd go into a morning session and I'd write the morning exam, and then I'd give myself enough time. And talk about time management. I kept not telling myself, okay, if you're not done the first exam within 2 hours and 20 minutes, just get it done. Close it out, take your break, forget about it, and move on. And that's what I did. And I'll tell you right now, when I wrote this exam 2 weeks ago, I looked at the clock, and I was 2 hours in, and I had 13 questions flagged, 13 out of 55. And I gave myself 20 minutes to go back. And I think out of those 3 out of the 13, I was like, okay, I got this. And to be honest, the 10, I was just click, 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 click. And I got it. And I just moved on, guys. I just moved on to it, had my lunch, had a nice, peaceful mental break, went back in there. And again, 20 minutes left. I was like 15 questions flagged on the second one. And I think I went back and answered 3 of them. And again, it was like, okay, click, 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 click. So what you want to do is manage your time. That's very important, because the last thing you want to do is have unanswered or questions where you don't have enough time to go back, because those are just wasted scores. So again, for your exam preparation practice the full 6-hour exam environment and time yourself. I used to time myself on a clock to do it. So
amazing.
And that's it. You got any questions? I know that's a mouthful. So yeah.
No, that's amazing, Paul. Like you were able to capture all the aspects of exam preparation. I can clearly see you are super pumped, right? And it's really impressive that without having an electrical background, you were able to tackle this, right? I mean, granted, you're working in the field, but that goes to show that, if you have the will, if you have the commitment level to get this done, and I would add, if you're using the right exam preparation resources, then it is very possible in a relatively short amount of time. In the grand scheme of things, the time you took to prepare for this exam with all the other responsibilities that you had is actually quite impressive.
Yes, well, thank you. And I'd have to just a big shout out to you and the development and the courses that you've been providing to examinees like myself to go in. It's well thought out. It's like a masterpiece, because I can go in there and use your resources in your courses and it provides enough information to me to be good. Meaning that if you spend the time and go through and I didn't do anything else, I just went through your courses and made sure I understood it and did all the practice problems and gave myself enough time, and then just did exam preparation. That's all I did. There was nothing more. There was nothing else I did on top of that. So again, I think that your course, the material that you've given, is really narrowed to this exam, to this FE, electrical and computers examination. Don't get me wrong, those 26 questions where I was like, these are really new to me. I don't have enough time to figure this out. If I did, I probably would, but I'm moving on.
Right.
But the other ones, you did a really good job. So I can't thank this I guess this course and what you've done. So I'd have to give a little bit of credit on that too. So
thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Paul. Really appreciate it.